Next, I am talking about the lumbrical muscles. So these lumbricals are named so because of its resemblance with the earthworm. So there are four lumbricals which are labeled or called from lateral to medial side. Let's identify the four lumbricals now. So this is the first lumbrical. This is the second lumbrical. So this is the third, and here is the fourth lumbrical muscle. So these lumbricals take origin from the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus. But when you see here, you can identify there are two tendons. The first tendon here, what you are seeing, is the tendon of flexor digitorum superficialis. Beneath that, you can identify the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus. So from this flexor digitorum profundus, you can see the origin of the lumbrical. So what I am holding now is the first lumbrical that is taking origin from the tendon of flexor digitorum profundus tendon. First and second lumbricals, this first lumbrical and second lumbrical, these are unipinnate, whereas the third and the fourth lumbricals are bipinnate muscle. So the first and second lumbrical, they arise from the radial side of the flexor digitorum profundus tendon for the index and the middle finger. So you see here, this is the radial side. So the first and second lumbricals are taking origin from the radial side of the tendons of flexor digitorum profundus going to index finger and middle finger. Whereas the third and the fourth lumbricals are bipinnate. So they are arising from the adjacent sides of the flexor digitorum profundus tendons that are going to ring and little fingers. The insertion of these lumbricals are into the radial side of the dorsal digital expansion of medial forefingers. So here you can see this is the dorsal digital expansion. Okay, here you can see the dorsal digital expansion that is formed because of the tendon of extensor digitorum. The nerve supply is the first and second lumbricals are supplied by the median nerve from their superficial surfaces, whereas the third and fourth lumbricals are supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve from its deep surfaces. The action of lumbrical muscle is it brings about the flexion at metacarpophalangeal joint and extension at interphalangeal joints. Next, I will be demonstrating on an arterial arch which can be nicely appreciated. Immediately beneath the palmar aponeurosis is the superficial palmar arch. The terminal part of ulnar artery and radial arteries in the palm anastomose with each other to form the superficial palmar arch, and deep beneath we have the deep palmar arch. Superficial palmar arch is very nicely appreciated here. This superficial palmar arch, it is formed by the continuation of ulnar artery. As you can see here, this is the ulnar artery. The ulnar artery, accompanied by the ulnar nerve on its medial side, enters the palm superficial to the flexor retinaculum and on the radial side of the pisiform bone. Beneath the palmaris brevis muscle, it divides into a superficial branch. As you can see, this is the superficial branch and the deep branch. The superficial branch, it enters in the formation of the superficial palmar arch. So we can call it as a main contribution to the superficial palmar arch is by the superficial branch of the ulnar artery. Whereas the deep branch, it gives its contribution to form the deep palmar arch. The superficial palmar arch, to demonstrate, this superficial palmar arch is an arterial arcade which lies beneath the palmar aponeurosis and in front of the long flexor tendons of the muscle and the lumbrical muscles. The arch is formed by the superficial terminal branch of ulnar artery on its lateral side, completed by one of the branches given by the radial artery. The branches may be the superficial palmar branch of radial artery or arteria radialis indicis or arteria princeps pollicis or arteria nervi mediana. So this arteria nervi mediana accompanies the median nerve. As you can see, this is the convexity of the superficial palmar arch. It is directed distally on the level of the distal border of outstretched thumb. This is the outstretched thumb. This is the distal border of it. So the convexity of superficial palmar arch lies at the level of the distal border of the outstretched thumb. Now let's identify the branches given by the superficial palmar arch. So this superficial palmar arch gives off 4 palmar digital arteries. You can see here, these are the 4 palmar digital arteries that is given from the convexity of the arch. The most medial, this is the most medial artery, as you can see. The most medial digital branch passes along the ulnar side of the little finger, and the remaining 3 branches, these are the remaining 3 branches, they form the common palmar digital arteries. Okay. So this artery, as you can see, it directly goes and supplies the ulnar side of the little finger, whereas the common digital artery here reaches the web space. You can see it is reaching the web space here and divides into 2 proper digital arteries. So these 2 proper digital arteries supplies the adjacent sides of the finger. So this is about the superficial palmar arch.